goodbye to Grown Folks Radio. It has been a wonderful, wonderful experience the last couple of years. I'm so excited today to have Shelly Shell Williams, as usual, my girl, and my friend Pam Mack from Chicago and the Naughty Lux Foundation. Can't wait to talk to her, and we'll do it after the jingle.
There you go.
PPC, PPC, yeah. PPC, PPC, CPC, yeah. Join me so we can grow together. Conversation, get that healing. Let them know what they're missing. Share with your best friend. Tell them come hear this, yeah. Don't you tell us your blessings, powerful lessons, true confessions, yeah. PPC, yeah. A powerful tool for you, 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 yeah.
All right. That was the last time on this channel.
No, we're on Urban Expressions Radio. We're not there. It's not there anymore.
Exactly, just not there. So Facebook, don't get scared. We're not leaving. I made a post about it being the last time on Grown Folks Radio, and people were like, "Oh, what?" I'm like, no. We're gonna be here, just not on that channel. You can't listen on that radio channel. So anyway,
So right now it is live on urbanexpressionsradio.com.
All right. Yes. Hi, urbanexpressions.com. Whose radio channel is that?
Stop playing. She's funny. Don't it? I'm like, what? I had to think. I was like, oh, she's playing. I don't know whose it is, but here it is. We are here, urbanexpressionsradio.com. So we're always going to be here. We always have options, and Kid Disco can run this one too. It can go for it.
We can get him.
Better go for it.
Well, I don't know if you could hear the jingle, Pam, but Shelly Shell is gonna ask you a question. And
yeah, you ready? You didn't hear the music? Did you hear the music?
Actually, this time better than I have before from when you've done it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you were listening or you pay attention to the show at all, we have the segment we call True Confession. Ooh. So you have to give us your true confession. They have to be deep, but then we have to follow suit. So whatever it is, we might have to follow suit. We have to say whether we did not, or this. So true confession time. Are you ready?
I don't know. Let's go for it though.
All right, it's you. It's on you. So what is your true confession?
And it can be any topic.
Anytime. It's all you. Any topic.
So I'm just so worried I'm gonna lose some folks.
Say what you feel, but it does not have to be that deep. Last week somebody was talking to eating certain kind of foods. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I love my mama. Okay, let's start there. I love my mama. But my mama is my mood killer. If I'm in a day and I call her, it's gonna get worse. Okay. So my true confession is sometimes I can't stand calling my mama. I know I'm gonna get people who know me are gonna kill me because everybody love their mama, but I hope it's somebody out there who can relate that sometimes mama just don't get me. Doesn't understand what I need. She's not soft as I need a mama to be, but maybe that's not what I need. So there it is. Now, I feel bad if anybody else does.
But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Cinder's gonna go, and I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah, I definitely had a different kind of relationship with my mom. My mom was a beautiful woman. She was so kind, but she had a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, physical, emotional, mental. My whole life, I did not know my mother any other way. And so she really needed me. I was, I oftentimes was the person that she confided in me as
Mm,
opposed to me confiding in her. And she wasn't in no way, mood killer. She wasn't like that, but she just didn't have it in her to give. She was struggling so hard to live and to be present, in the chronic pain that she was in her heart, in her not her physical heart, but her, emotionally
mm,
and all the physical issues. So I found myself seeking out matriarchal vibes from other people,
mm.
other women. Oftentimes the moms of men that I dated, I would attach to them. And oftentimes, my first husband, actually, I was in love with his mama. I loved her so much. She treated me like her daughter.
I love
And yeah, I loved her so much. And I received that from her because I didn't have it from my mom, And as a child, that was all I knew. But I had my therapy. We were talking about that earlier, and I worked through it, and I understood that mommy gave me as much as she could give me, and I accepted her for who she was. And at the end, maybe a couple years before she died, she went through this phase where she was in another world. She was living a different reality. She wasn't
mm,
in this world anymore. She had a whole new life. She had gone from no talking for about 2 years. She didn't talk at all to talking all the time in ways we'd never heard her. Talking
wow.
about her sexuality, talking about this man that she was marrying. She told me she was going to have a new baby. I mean, and she was so much fun. And I'd never known this lady before. I was like, man, if only I'd met that version of you sooner, and that was a healing time. It didn't last long. It lasted for about 6 months until she had a major stroke. And
Mm.
then it was just downhill from there. But I I was thankful. I felt like that was a gift to receive her that way.
For sure.
Um,
Sure.
but I can totally relate in these complicated relationships with mom.
Yeah, yeah. And don't get me, we were best friends. I'm crazy about her, but I have not had therapy, but some of my friends are lightweight. They think they're clinical psychologists. And they have analyzed the situation and they seem to think, and I could see that with you, but not in the way your mother reacted or interacted with you, that I am a constant reminder of what she may have wanted to be or do or have. And
Mm,
I'm single. I don't have any
mm,
children. It appears that my life is just carefree and wonderful. And she has this foundation and she's acting and blah, 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 in the bistro. But all that means is more problems. More stuff is more problems. It's not more money. I don't know how Biggie came up with that. Maybe it is. I don't know because I've never had a whole lot of money. But what I know is the more titles you have, the more people who depend on you creates more concerns, more responsibility is what I would say. And so as she makes these comments and stuff, it's just like, you don't even get it, Ma. You have no idea. Like you said, I didn't sleep last night. 4 hours because you're thinking, you're trying to figure out your next move. You're trying to figure out, hey, I'm 55, yet I feel like I'm so behind on my schedule. It's so many things that I thought by 55 I would have accomplished. So when people look at you, one thing, but you living in the body and living with the thoughts that you have that haunt your own self about yourself, you have no idea. And that's what I think I'm realizing more, is that other people do feel this way, but for different reasons. Everybody feels like, I should have been here, I should have done this, and there are circumstances, people who stopped you. There might be, just, maybe making a choice to be a wife instead of pursuing your acting career or whatever it is. But you always look back at that woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Mhm.
And I got a reminder for my mom, and that's why we have that thing. But
Mhm.
But I get it. I wanted to, yeah, definitely. My mom is different. She's not the social type. She's not, we used to be really close, but I believe that, like Yang, I mean, it's going definitely opposite ways. Like, she doesn't want to, like, I had Thanksgiving here. She doesn't want to come here. She doesn't want to come. And it's okay. But I love her. I love my mom. I would not, this life, I wouldn't where I am without her. So I understand what you're saying. But just because we have a difference of, or difficult in our relationship, doesn't mean we don't love our mothers. But
Right.
I agree with you 100%. I could be like this, and she'll preach you. It'll be like a whole preaching session. It's like us preaching. We're just gonna be preaching. But what I've started to do, and what has been working, I have 100% been praying every day on the relationship and asking God to help us. I asked for restoration. I asked for understanding, and it's a daily prayer. And I said, Lord, give her some Jesus joy. Like, could you give us some Jesus joy all up in the inside, peace that surpasses all understanding? Like,
Yeah.
But it is my prayer. I'm like, Lord, because I know how I feel. I feel so joyful. Like, I'm a silly person, so my joy is just overwhelming. So I'm like, if she get a little bit of that Jesus joy, come on, get that. So I pray on that every day, and I saw a difference. I was able to go with her yesterday to her ex-husband's brother's funeral. Difficult situations, of course. That's a thing, but we were so good. We were good. I was like, guys, we're good. When she walked in, I had her back like, yeah, mess with my mama. No, but it turned out good. We didn't butt heads. And like I said, it's really the prayer. And I see every time I'm praying, I see the difference. I see how we're able to connect. So, I ain't gonna always get it right, because I'm not one of. She always complaining about what I don't get right. You don't put me first. You don't do. But I'm like, I'm gonna get it right one day. I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna put her first. I'm gonna make her a priority. But that's our ongoing thing. But I get it. That doesn't mean I don't love her. I love her.
Right.
And her birthday was this week, right? And I didn't get the card. I should have got a card ahead of time. I mean, I gotta admit this. I knew I should have got the card ahead of time before I was getting ready to go to see her. So I get to the card store. That was the worst cards in the world. I said, yo, she loves cards. That's all she said. Don't get me nothing. All you have to do is give me a card. And I'm like, if I get these cards, she'll just know I did it at the last minute. I'm like, no, man. So I said, what does she want? So I bought chocolate. And she was happy with the chocolate.
Good.
And I was sitting there like, she gonna say something. You waited till the last. I thought I was rehearsing in my head. You waited till the last minute. You didn't get the card. You could have even mailed the card. My birthday was on Saturday. I was sitting there like rehearsing. I was like, but I got chocolate. His favorite. It's chocolate. And she liked it. So but I understand the dynamic when you like.
Well, that's beautiful. Your mother wanted a car. My mama want money. Give me some money.
No. My mama always giving me money. What money?
What?
Yeah, no. My mama is generous with that. Like, man, them times when it's hard out here for a pimp. No, but when it's hard out here, she has paid my mortgage. She has paid my bills. Oh my God, yeah, she paid my mortgage for months, literally months.
So
Like, she is generous to not just me, but to everyone involved, because she believed God gave her this money. She said, I can't take it with me, so I'm gonna give it. So I have my home saved because my mama, but that don't mean we don't butt heads. I love her and I'm grateful for her. But Jesus, get joy. Get that joy that I had. The world didn't give. Get that joy in your heart. Get it.
I just
You
want to do a
know,
mom swap for a day with you. A mom swap, like they said at wife
oh
swap.
yeah, I wouldn't say certain things online. I mean, I seem like an open book, but there are definitely some closed chapters. Boy, we could have a three girls sit down on the couch and talk stories, man, baby. Woo!
Bring the one.
I got plenty to talk about. But James says, hey James, he says he remembers those times. I'm going backwards. He remembers when he was 4 years old, his mom would take him for walks around the block. Funny things like that. You remember. Hi Ramon. Hi Earl. I think I saw Baz. What's up, man? You haven't been here for a while.
Baz,
What's up?
Stacy, yes.
And
What's
guess
going
who's
on?
not here? Your boy is not here today. I don't know where he is, but thank you guys for joining us. That prompted a thought, listening to us talk about our relationships with our mother and recognizing, there's 5 sisters. I'm one of 5 sisters, and then I have 2 brothers. It's interesting how the relationships can be different. I mean, every once in a while, I meet a man who has issues with his mom, but most of the time, not always, obviously, men almost put their moms on a pedestal.
True.
They just love their mama. And it's like I have 2 red flags that I look for in the beginnings of relationships. A man that can't stand his mom, and a man who likes his mom too dang gone much. Why don't you take her out on a date, dude? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are boundaries, and I have recognized that oftentimes, especially single family households, when the mama was the only one, they can't see no wrong with mama, and I understand that. You know what I mean? I get it. But I think it's just a little bit more complicated with women and their moms. It's just a different dynamic, that because I always dreamt of having a son. I wanted a boy so bad. Oh my God, I just waited too late and too long. But I wanted that kind of feeling because I've seen, of course, I would have probably ended up with something different, but I've seen how boys treat their mama. It's just so beautiful how they take care of mom.
It is. I don't have any kids. It's like, I was like, when you said that you single, no kids, I was like, oh, we're the same over here.
Y'all in the same boat. I married y'all, enough for all of us. So
She doesn't have me fall. Boom.
no
Fair.
worries. I got y'all covered.
Hey, but me and my daddy,
Close.
It's talk about the man, please, man. My father is actually in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. And the other day I went over and I was like complaining to my mom about my car. I'm like, you know what, I got to get a new car because I feel like, I'm going to be stranded on the road, and daddy, he can't come get me like he used to. I always been I don't care what time of day or night. He goes, I'll come get you. Now he hasn't driven a car, and I don't know if he even remembers that he doesn't drive. But this is a man who has, my mother, I know for a fact, I haven't witnessed it, that my mom and dad probably got into some major bang ups about me. And he's always gonna ride with me. He's always gonna make sure that I am straight and I'm above. He never wanted me to be dependent, and this might have ruined me, dependent on a man. He always wanted to show me vacations and money and all this stuff, so I wouldn't be very impressionable to what a man had to offer. And it kind of probably worked, good and bad at this point in my life. But I always knew, well, if you won't do it, my daddy would, or I don't care because I already done that because my daddy took me. So, Michelle, I don't know if maybe I killed myself, maybe I'm my own.
No, I don't think that's what it is. I mean, you can unlearn that. If you found a man who stepped up, I believe you was just like, all right, but they gotta be strong enough to step up. That doesn't mean your father's spoiled. That means they gotta be strong enough. Because what you realize is a lot of times we meet people and you're like, oh my God, come on, why are you so? They're weak. Like that's it. They're weak. And my mom used to say that when I dated somebody, she's like, he's not strong enough for you. He's not strong enough for you. And I didn't understand it until I realized, you're right, he wasn't strong enough for me.
Now, see,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but then when we say not strong enough, if a man, men listening might take it like we're too much, not that there are things that we require or that in our eyes is a man, because a lot of men have gotten away from that. A lot of mommies raising young boys and men have gotten away from making men, building men, because they don't know how, because they're women. How can a woman, and I know I'm a man, I'm gonna make you get a lot of mail, Cinda. Hey, she hate her mama. She say boys, the women can't raise men. But you gonna get a lot. I'm sorry, but yeah. I mean, I just feel like a lot of men that I meet now are not, or younger men that I come in contact with through my foundation. They don't know the fundamentals. They just don't know, because mom is not a man. She may not have encountered any real men to even give her an example. But by me growing up, my parents have been married 62 years. My daddy was there the whole time. It wasn't always nice, though. It might not be nice now, but they stayed. They pushed it out. And I believe a lot of it was for my brother and I. And then once we got out of the house, they might have lived separate lives for all I know. But all I know is they got too long, they went too long, and now they stuck with each other.
It's funny, but now that process of the Alzheimer's, my grandfather had it, my uncle had it. That process is a grueling process. It's not like the easiest thing in the world, and I don't have to personally deal with it. My mother does. She literally takes care, goes to see my uncle a couple times a week. It's a lot. It's a lot mentally to deal with. And they don't know you anymore.
But yeah, but then we just, there needs to be a class out here.
A class for men.
Oh, I have talked about that. Yeah, I've had that conversation with there was a person I knew that had a nonprofit, and he was doing these wonderful things, and I was like, have you ever thought about having a class for young men to teach them the kind of things that, instead of receiving that information from a gang leader or the streets or whatever, a man like you can teach other men, and then and it's a rotating thing. And I think maybe the fraternities are kind of like that. They can be, certain friendships can be. I don't know anything about that.
They have this organization out here. Well, no, it's not just here. They went on a tour, so it's everywhere. So called Black Men Heal, and it's all male psychologists and therapists and all those in the mental health state, getting all the men together and having that dialogue and teaching from that point. I went to one of their events only to cover it. I couldn't stay to hear what they were doing. I really wanted to. I wanted to be that fly on the wall. But when I saw all these men in the room ready to be healed, and the results that they got from it in each state they went to, they said people were coming and breaking down barriers. They saw the men crying. They saw the men, really breaking down what they might have gone through and actually trying to heal. And I think that's the biggest thing of it all, because a lot of times they don't have a therapist. They don't know what a therapist. So all this therapies, this organization gives free therapy to men. Free.
That's great. That is
Free.
such a beautiful thing.
What is it called?
Black Men Heal. And they're on Instagram at, I think it's Black Men Heal.
That's awesome.
Wonderful. That's
Free.
wonderful.
And it's free.
So LJ, what's up? How you doing, Luther? He said, Supreme Rising Queens. He was on last week. Errol has a question. Earl says, Shelley, when your mother said he's not strong enough, did she mean that the guy was too nice?
No, not at all.
Exactly, not at all.
That's not what she meant. She meant that he didn't have all that he needed to actually become the head of the household, to do what he needed to do. He took the easy way out with different things, and that's what ended up happening. We were engaged, and he took the easy way out, and even the pastor from the pulpit, which he should not have done that, I don't believe, but even from the pulpit said, you, after we were cleared for marriage counseling, we were cleared to go get married. He said from the pulpit, don't marry him. He's not the one. He doesn't, like, he was, you know how you have a job and you get laid off, boom, you get unemployment. He wasn't seeking the next step in life. It was just like, I'm just do this unemployment and I don't have the next step in life. And the pastor was like, no, he's not the one. And so, which matched what my mother was saying. She saw it before even the counselor. She saw it, no, not the one. So she saw something in him that wasn't going to be able to provide the home or even be the teammate that I needed to live. So she was right. She was right. And it's not mean, a great guy, great human being. No doubt about it, but not the man for me. You got to be strong.
And that's a key. I think a lot of men don't understand. They think we want what they call simps or whatever. I think that's what they call them.
Yeah, I don't want that. No.
I don't want that. I like a man that has a voice that's very comfortable in his skin, not defensive, not fearful of what I might do with someone else because they're so confident in who they are. That can carry their own load.
Take the lead at that. You know what I mean? How about take
yeah.
the lead? I will be submissive if you can take the lead. And are you leading us in the right way? Don't lead me down the road of destruction. Don't lead me to the poorhouse. I have a house and you want me to sell my house because it's too much money? Who does that? Who would do that? Who would even suggest that your house costs too much money? But no matter what, even if I sell it, you're going to have to have a place to live. And that wasn't a sound advice at all. You don't sell my house because it costs too much. You work. You work to try to fix it and do what you got to do. That's my thought. But
yeah. I have one more statement. James said his mom raised him to always be respectful to women, open doors for them, help them with their chair when you're at a restaurant, etc. And he still does that. And to me, to some people, especially some men that have been raised in an interesting way, might think that is soft, but I think that's strong. I think that's very strong to be protective and aware of the surroundings of the woman that you're with, or, your partner. I'm not going to say woman, your partner, and being conscious of them and generous to them when it comes to just being thoughtful. That's a strong trait. That's not a weak trait. That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I interrupted you, Pam. I'm sorry.
Along with everything that you guys have said about what makes a man, just even like having a level of sensitivity and an awareness of what your mate may be going through or feeling. And some men don't see that as manly. And like you said, that is the most manly. A man who can identify, that's so in tune with his woman or a person with their partner that they can sense when something is going on, when we sometimes try to mask that, when we sometimes try to hide that, because, I'm a strong woman, I'm a strong girl, and I feel like sometimes I worry about coming off weak or coming off soft, so I can't, I'm looking for my, make it, he's the safe place, but I want to say too, after we said everything that we've said about mommy and the men, we're not saying we're perfect. We're not saying that we don't have, issues and things that we are working through and want to work through, but we're open for that. I want to be better. I want to be smarter. I want to learn how to be more of a partner. But I have been, pushing this ball down down the lane for a long time by myself. So that's something that someone would have to, try to meet me where I am. We have to always meet people where they are. All of those experiences up to that point where you met them. And if they're still interesting, if there's still someone that, number one, you can call friend, that you guys can have some friendship conversations and you can say, the good, bad, and the ugly, the things that we said today, and they still accept you and don't judge you. That's a great start to me.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Listen, we, like you said, we're not perfect. And this is only conversation. Like everybody has, that's the point. If we speak with, and people don't judge what we're saying. Just like, listen, this is just what we're going through. This is our personal experiences that we're sharing. And believe it or not, it's funny how we all mirror each other. We would have known that. We would never have known that about each other, which allows us to connect in a whole different way. Like, oh man, you feel what I'm feeling. And hopefully that's the whole point. It's not to say, hey, judge me on who I am. Listen, I'm not perfect. I want what everybody wants. If you want a husband, I want a mate. Not that I don't have a mate. I do have that, but I'm saying I want that person, my lifelong companion that's going to be there, my friend, and we work it out together. We struggle together. We hustle together. Whatever we going to do, let's make this world happen. But it's a great thing. But I think y'all need to hear more about what Pam.
Yeah, we're going to get into Pam
foundation, because
I'm glad we don't have commercials. Hi, Vaughn. Let me just say hi to Vaughn. He says, you mean considerate. Yeah, I think I missed the rest of the thread. But so Pam, you have nonprofit, you have club, you're an actress, you've no wonder it's so hard for you to find somebody, because you're gorgeous, you have a very striking personality, and you're running the shit. Excuse my language. I think, you know what I'm saying? So tell us about what you're doing.
For sure. This is my passion, so I can talk about this all day. So number one, I am the founder of Naughty Lux Arts Foundation, which is a nonprofit in the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. And what we do is we educate and train young children between the ages of 12 and 18 in performing arts, music, dance, and theater. My background is acting. I'm a Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Radio and Television artist. And I'm in those unions, and I've been doing that since 1994. I've done voiceovers, I've done episodics, I've done a couple of B films. I write stuff for Chicago Public Schools, and one of my new pieces that I'm going to be doing is her story as opposed to history. And it's taking like historical figures, Black women, lesser known, into the schools and we're doing like biographical, well, I shouldn't say biographical. We're doing portrayals of them to make people more aware of the Black women who have made a difference in this world, as opposed to, nothing wrong with the Black man, but we know about, Thurgood Marshall. We know about Frederick Douglass. We know about Martin Luther King and Malcolm and all. But, do we know Zora Neale Hurston? Do we know some of the, Harriet Tubman? Yeah, from the movie, but do you know her backstory? So another strong woman, it's so many times that I think about, I'm pro woman. Let me just say that I'm pro woman. I'm always trying to put my girls in the foundation out front, because we've been taught to be more in the background, to be a background singer. Let the boys have a group. Let the boys be out front. Let the boys play. The boys have been active. The parents push you out there. Go play sports. Go do this. Go do that. And then they tell us, go clean your room or write something nice, or, go get pretty. We're not the actionable people. I'm trying to change that with these girls that I come in contact with. And so we actually do concerts. We write plays. Right now they're doing some dance. They're doing some African dance, gumboot, which is very similar to like stepping, if like Greek steps, something like that. We try to keep it fun. And the whole idea is to try and prick their brains, their hearts, to and make them aware of lesser known vocations in the arts, because COVID has brought out where now Screen Actors Guild, the Directors Guild, all the Hollywood mainstreams, they are looking for Black folks now because they want to make it equitable now. You know, this diversity and equitable inclusion. This is a big catchphrase. But now, after you done kept us out for so long, now you're looking for us and we only got a few to throw at you. These people. So I'm trying to have a breeding ground, and it's free. All of our training is free. We're building these professionals in the industry, from costume designers to set. We take them everywhere and let them see everything. And if they show an interest in it, we do fundraisers to bring in someone from that particular area to speak with them. So, you know, each one teach one. If you can see it, you can believe it. And they love it. And then we just do, you know, really cool things for the community out there as well, which is a Blight community. Markham is where we're located. We have our headquarters there. We opened a bistro there, and we bring live jazz, blues, reggae to the community. And we're just trying to have a safe place, a beautiful place. We did a lot of renovations on the building, and people come down. The best compliment we get is, hey, this doesn't look like it's Markham. It looks like it's downtown Chicago. So everything we do, we're trying to bring excellence and trying to deposit into people, adults too. A lot of adults don't have the money to go downtown or go to a big theater and pay, you know, $90 for a concert or whatever, when, you know, we're doing it for $20. Or if somebody comes and, you know, they need to get in or they want to come, you know, we'll let them in. You know, we do that because it's not just about the money. It's about our tagline for Nadia Lux Arts is orchestrating lives, you know. So we're trying to build people. So that's that.
You just explained Midas, another section, a dream of mine. So I'm so thankful that you're doing it and other people like you are doing it in our communities, because it's so desperately needed right now. And what you said about all these other jobs, there's a multitude, it's a universe of work to be had in entertainment. My daughter called me the other day and she was like, Mom, I'm interested in 2 other things besides acting and modeling. I was like, what? She says, like, I want to do possibly stunts and I want to do voiceover work. And I was like, well, hallelujah, smart girl. I wish I had been so wise at your age, because then I would have always worked. I wouldn't have had my dry seasons, because I know this girl who I want to actually have on a show who's amazing. Her name is April. She was the only Black, she was my stunt double on few things because she was the only one. She was it. The only Black woman, and we don't look alike, okay? She was playing it was either her, a Black dude with a wig, or a white dude with makeup and a wig, you know, for years. And it's still very few Black women. And Sophia is an athlete. I mean, she knows how to play every sport. She's strong. And she's very adventurous. She does not have a scary bone in her body. I'm like, yeah, you could do that. You can do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Is your daughter?
I'm sorry?
Is she in Chicago?
No, she's in Los Angeles. She goes to Academy of Dramatic and Music Arts. She graduates in February.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good idea. You're right. There are so many. I've been preaching this for years. And like I said, I feel like Pam and I don't know, understand. I started a nonprofit years ago to teach people media and entertainment. And have been doing this since, because there's so many things behind the scenes. People think I didn't get here because I was on TV or because I was in the front. I got here because I was the person in the background, being the producer, trying to figure out how to make the money for the show. And that's where how it came about. It had nothing to do with me being a face on TV.
Right.
No,
Right.
It came from the background.
Mhm. And,
That's
and
all.
and and it's so empowering. I mean, I remember for years, I mean, years hearing women, especially women of color and white women, complaining about the lack of equity, and they were right. The lack
Mhm.
of, they're talking about that. But my whole thing has always been, so do your own projects.
Yep.
Do your own projects. And with this age of social media, social media has been a wonderful thing in many ways, but it's also been a difficult thing in many ways. This lack of connection. I mean, when I was coming up, man, I had a crew. I was always a loner, but when it came to my work, there were people that I worked with. I worked with the same director, same producers, and these days it's so necessary to do what you're doing, because those kids that are coming up in your program, or the people coming up in your program, Shelley, they're going to remember each other, and maybe they'll work together and they'll create together. And that is how you change things. Because if we start making our own projects and it's making a lot of money, then that opens the door on their stuff if we choose to do it,
That's
you
true.
know? So, I think it's so phenomenal. So how did you make that leap? I mean, you went from doing it yourself to, I mean, I'm all about giving back. And I know you enough to know that's probably, you're just the type of person. When's your birthday?
January 25th, I'm an
Oh,
Aquarian.
okay, that makes sense. That makes
Ma'am,
sense.
ma'am, Pam, ma'am, Pam. My birthday
Don't
is
tell.
January 20th. Mine is the 20th. January 20th. What is going on here? Like, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, everything we're saying is like, wait a minute. That's the same. That's the same. Now we have January 2025.
Mhm, mhm.
That's
Mm.
so cool. Yeah, yeah.
Was
Yeah.
there like an experience or a moment or a dream that said, okay, I got to do this? And then I'm going to call it Naughty Lux, and I want to understand where that comes from too.
Great, great. I'm so glad you brought that up. So I won't, you know what? I think it was steps were kind of ordered that I didn't know about. I think, yeah, well, I know that God is in control and he will orchestrate some moves for you, but we all sometimes we deviate, and God is about free will. So if you don't want to go to the left and he wants you to go to the left, you go to the right, you'll probably end up getting back around to his way, but you have your decision, your right to do that. So I think I kind of yielded, not knowing I was yielding, because I'll say, I'm gonna, since I'm talking about God and religion right now, I never went to church. Well, I shouldn't say that. I never had a personal relationship with a church or religion until I was in my late 20s, right before my acting career took off. I wasn't even acting at that time. I was working a job wanting to act, but was afraid to get into acting. Didn't know how to do it, none of that. So that's that. So, but now to do this thing in the industry, you gotta have a base. You gotta have God or whoever your savior is to believe in, because this is a tough walk to go through by yourself. And a lot of times you will be by yourself physically, but that spirituality that resides in you and lives in you, when you tap into it, it will carry you the rest of the way. So now what you ask me, I always loved kids, all because I didn't have any. And I think that as women, we always have this maternal thing in us. Mine, I never got a chance to really explore it because I was raised by this background that you don't have a kid out of wedlock, and I was scared. I was afraid to do it, even though I, had some near misses. So, so, so yeah, so I always had that. And then when I started acting and getting around people, parents would come to me and say, hey, I saw you in a commercial. I saw you. How do you do that? How do you get into it? So then I started having these little workshops, maybe once a year, how to break into the business. I'd rent a hotel room. I'd invite some people. They come. I tell them how to get an agent, how I got an agent, and things that they needed to do. How about a headshot, and management, things that I had learned coming up, learning the hard way, I was giving away to them so they can have a shortcut than I did. So I was doing that for a while. And then I started during COVID. This is so crazy. During COVID, I was doing kind of like this on a smaller level. My friends, my momagers that I know that have kids in the business, I would tell them, well, don't do this and don't sign this. And this is what you should be doing. And so once or twice a year, I would have those little workshops. And then somebody brought a grant, a notice, an RFP to me about doing a program. The Illinois was giving away money from the cannabis slush fund for this war, the people who encountered the war on drugs. They want to do something back to these certain areas. One of those areas, I do a lot of what I do in those areas outside of my other acting, which is never in any of those areas. When you're going through an agent, you're doing that high budget stuff. So I wrote the grant along with some help and put it away, never thought about it anymore because I never win. I never get anything. So I was like, I'm going to throw it out there. Sure enough, 2020, January, I get awarded this grant. I was like, holy bejesus. So at that time, it was like, in the words of, in Missouri, where I come from, it's time to shit to get off the pot. I really didn't have a program together. And so you pull from what you know. And like, how am I going to get some kids? How am I going to recruit them? How am I going to get some kids to buy in and their parents to buy in to this thing? Well, everybody wants to be on TV. Everybody wants to, and TikTok and social media has made it even worse. So, believe it or not, still those Sin Done shows, it is difficult to get people to join the program. A lot of kids want to do sports. And I'm no nonsense too. I'm the coach of sports. If you can if you got to spend every day to be on the baseball team, you got to report to us every day if you're going to be serious about this acting thing. I'm putting people like Terrence Blanchard in front of them, who is a great composer. I'm putting people like you in front of them, actors who have had great notoriety and success in the business. I'm putting, I got a friend who voiced Mortal Kombat. He's a voiceover. I'm putting them right in. So you have to be there. You don't just get to pop in. I'm taking them to Frozen. I'm taking them to Alvin Ailey. I'm taking them on a movie set. I'm doing these things to really ignite something in them. And if you miss one day, that might be the day that was that thing that was going to do it for you. So, so that was the grant, put the money out there. And then at that point, it was like, I could have charged, but why? That was money that I didn't expect. I had always been giving the knowledge away. So now that I get some free money, spend it on the kids. And ones that I have in a year and a half, they have blossomed so much. A lot of them, because it was the middle of COVID, weren't socialized anymore. They had been being bullied on social media. They share with me. I feel so privileged that these kids feel so close and so safe to me. They tell me about things that happen at school. A lot of kids. I have 13 diehards, and out of those 13, probably 7 of them have been in school shootings. Can you imagine that? It just blows my mind because we didn't have to worry about that stuff at school. And it's just, and they tell me, Miss Mack, I've been cutting myself, or I've been, something. Oh my God. I'm like, I got to hire a clinical psychologist like yesterday, because I'm doing the best I can with it, but it's above my pay grade. But I know, because they share so much with me, that I'm on the right path. That the people that I work with we're on to something. And if we just stay diligent, if the money runs out, we keep doing it for free, this is going to pay off. And this community is going to be different and better for it. And Black folks in Illinois alone, because I'm keeping these kids are being safe. When you get all these shootings going on, accidental, non-accidental, just being a safe place for them is reward enough. You know, I'm just,
Yeah, if they do the arts or not.
Yeah.
It's life changing for people. I mean, I went to school with who knows how many people that ended up doing totally different things, but being involved with a program like that changed their lives. You know, you won't know until later when they come back to you and they tell you what your program. Years ago when I back in LA, I had a program I would teach, and I work with something similar, except for I don't remember money. I don't think I was making any, but I did something in Los Angeles the last couple of years. I was there in a theater. These twins there in the Merck Park let me use their theater, and I did the same thing. We wrote plays rather. We staged things. And you know, years later, these kids are now adults.
Wow.
And I've heard from them on social media. You were my teacher. You taught me, and that changed me. That helped me. That changed my life. You don't do it for that. You
Right.
do it because it's what you're supposed to do. But you will eventually, somebody's going to come back, and multiple somebody's going to come back and say thank you. You were that catalyst that I needed to push me into some light, you know, because a lot of these kids are in the dark and don't know it until they get into the light, you know, and that's what they can find in these things. And it doesn't have to stop with creative pursuits. It can be media, it can be electronics and computers, it can be science. I think professionals from our communities need to make these things happen, because the kids that might not want to sing and dance and act might be really good in math, you know, or really good in with robotics, their hands, or there's so many. This is the half of my thing that you don't do, that I dreamt of doing, is adding a whole other section of the practical arts, teaching kids things they don't know how to do, their parents don't know how to do, because their grandparents and their great grandparents didn't teach them how to clean, how to cook, how to sew, how to start gardens, how to work on cars, all these skills that were very, very, don't call me a conspiracy theorist, it was very consciously pulled out of our communities, these skilled jobs. Go to college. I'm not saying, I mean, obviously I'm a graduate. College is awesome, but it's not for everybody.
It's not.
And when they took away those skills out of our schools, where you're learning how to sew, where you're learning how to cook, where you're learning when you took that stuff, they took away those skills. And then the kids, they just don't know what to do with themselves if they don't fit into that academic program thinking.
Right.
And not to mention, those skills are what started giving Black people the up. That's when we were able to start buying houses. We were able to start having a legacy, because our, grandfather was a plumber, and he made a lot of money being an electrician. He made a lot, you know what I'm saying? And he poured that into the family. So that's the other side of it that I hope someone does if I don't have a chance. A special program for teaching kids how to freaking balance your money in your bank, how to know about money. You should be learning how to save and invest and all these kind of things as soon as you start making your allowance. I was amazed. I did a lot of substitute teaching. I'm sorry, I'm gonna shut up. I did a lot of substitute teaching, and I found, because I did a lot of the work in special needs, that special needs students receive way more training when it comes to living regular life than the other children in the general population do. They know how to balance their money. They know how to cook. They know how to clean. They know, because they are taught these things because their parents, want them to be independent. Well, I want my daughter to be independent.
Right.
So
There's a lot of organizations There are organizations out there who are doing it. They're just, in different areas. But you mentioned something about if the money runs out, are you seeking grants and, to continue with grants? Because there's a lot out there.
Yeah, I am, but now because I'm so hands-on, it's myself, my program director, the dance instructor, and a vocal coach. I'm so inundated with paperwork and the bistro and everything. I need a grant writer, and I need somebody.
Oh, guess what?
You do that?
No. There was a guest on the show. And I was looking for grants, and he knew it, and he found the grant writer. He remembered. It was months ago. He literally remembered and called me, and we had a meeting, and he found the grant writer. It does cost money, but if you have a budget already there, the budget isn't that much. If I had it, I would have done it. I was like, I'm not there.
Right.
But I trust him. Well, it's Cinder's friend. It's not he's my friend now, but he was Cinder's friend. But I trust him. He's been using this grant writer. They actually help them find the grants, and you just pay them up front. It's not a lot of money, but I can. Well, you can connect her to
Please share.
Omar
McClinton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Definitely.
That's awesome. Thank you for
and he's in the Wait a minute. Where y'all at? Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
He's
no,
in
not anymore. No, he moved. He moved to Florida.
Of course.
He moved to Florida, but he knows everybody in Chicago. Okay. So yeah, I'll give you Omar's information, because he can really help you with what you're doing on a lot of levels. There's other things that he's doing also that would be extremely helpful. Sponsorship dollars. He could help you get sponsorship dollars. So
he's the plug right now. Like I said, he went and he searched. He didn't just say, hey, because I've had writers who stole my ideas and got their own grant. So, but he researched and searched until he found someone he trusted. So so there's no way that we don't have to have the money run out, because I know what that's like. I've been there. When you have the money and the grants are coming in, and then it runs out, and then it's like, oh my gosh, well, I gotta live. You know what I mean? So you don't have to get to that point.
And you already have a template. You already have a grant. Yes. So it's not like you're starting from scratch. You're a new company. You already have a success rate. You're already doing it. So yeah, I'll put you guys together. But I don't know, we got 3 minutes. That went fast.
Let me Naughty right quick. So Naughty Lux Arts Foundation is also, and then I have Naughty Lux Bistro. My father had a bar and grill for 27 years in Chicago, very successful in Roseland. People talk about it now. It was called the Naughty Pine Lounge. My Naughty Lux is his Naughty Lux on steroids. So it's luxury. And then it's legacy. So the foundation is my passion project. The bistro is my legacy project. Those two are married. I guess I don't have time to get married, and I really want to be married.
It's coming for you. It's coming. You just speak it into existence. Get the third. I think we all need therapy. I'm gonna get that therapy. That's what we need. We need that therapy.
I could probably do a therapy for the rest of my life. James, I will say this before we tell everybody how to reach you and support you. James said he listened to you on the podcast, and you were inspiring then as you are today. And he said, we're all wonderful women, and he hopes everything works out for us. Thank you so much, James. Thank you everyone for listening in. So tell everybody how to contact you if they want to support, if they want to come, if they're in Chicago, they want to come to your place.
Yes. And let me just be clear. Naughty is spelled Knotty. Lux, LUXE.org. So naughtylux.org is for the foundation. Naughtylux.com is for the bistro. And you can if you just put Naughty Lux in, we're Naughty Lux everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. We even have a Twitter. I don't know much about it. But we do have that. Or you can, if you look me up, Pam Mack, PAMMACK. I'm PamMack.com. And if you Google me, you'll find me somehow, because I ain't hiding.
All right. Okay,
Thank you, Shelly, so much for this opportunity and letting me come on and talk about the kids more so than anything, and just to be with some cool sisters that made me feel good that I'm not like out there by myself.
Not at all.
Oh,
Not at all. We
clearly
find
not.
each
Look,
other.
we all, it's like the same. It's like, well, wait a minute. What? No, you're definitely not out on your own. We got this.
Mhm.
Woo.
Tell me you got something happening?
30 interviews in 30 days. Always still going on. I'm on day 23. It's at 7 p.m. tonight. What else happening? That's it. Oh my goodness, single on a Saturday night was amazing. I just have to thank everybody that came out. Our first one at the new location was amazing. So December 24th, 1 p.m. is the next one. But follow me on Instagram at Shelly Shell Williams.
All right. And this week, I'm very excited to have Dantes on the PPC podcast, and then he'll be on the show next week. He is a internationally known and acclaimed singer and producer, and he has his own radio show, so he's a lot of fun to listen to. And what else is happening? Please check out Cinda Williams 615, my TikTok stuff, and Facebook Cinda Williams. But really, Cinda Williams. I used to say go to Cinda Will. Forget Cinda Will. Go to Cinda Williams now because it's monetized. So please come on to Cinda Williams and watch my stuff over and over again. Tell all your friends. it'll be helpful. Thank you everybody for showing up. We love you guys, and we will see you next time. God bless.